This feels like 2008 Joe Flacco, Matt Ryan. Good morning. Welcome to the episode of Hardfell Radio. Appreciate you for tuning in. This is the show that values time, so let's not waste any quarterbacks. There is no position in sports that the team is more dependent on than quarterbacks, and no position in sports probably dictates the emotions or mood of your fan base the following day than how your quarterback performed. Charger fans are really excited because Justin Herbert, even if they weren't winning a lot of games, just came off a record-breaking rookie season. So they felt really good. Then there's, I got to throw my own shade at my own way. Like Bronco fans, we saw Drew Lock stink it up a good part of last year. So even when they won, it didn't feel so good. There's a lot of quarterback battles going on this year. And for some reason, I don't want to talk about one specifically first, and then we'll get around to the rest of them. Two specifically. New England and San Francisco. These are two quarterback battles where we feel good about the rookie that they brought in. Most people do, at least. Mac Jones in New England system and Trey Lance in San Francisco system. People generally feel pretty good, like, oh, these teams could win with these guys at quarterback. And why? Well, New England's got a good offensive line. They just brought in new tight ends. Their defense should be better. They just had 13 guys, I believe, opted out last year, which is the most in the NFL. Those guys are all coming back. And obviously you still have Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels. So you would feel good about the structure that Mac Jones is in, especially a quarterback coming from Alabama, which we all know about the structure at Alabama. It should be as seamless a transition as possible, right? And then you got Trey Lance, who... he's getting the 49ers defense, which will have Nick Bosa back healthy. Offensively, Greg Kittle. They got receivers. They've got a good offensive line, a running game, and you've got Kyle Shanahan as your head coach. The structure around these two, everybody feels pretty confident. Even though we all think Trevor Lawrence is the can't-miss prospect, he's the prodigy, the once-a-decade kind of guy, he's in Jacksonville. What are you really expecting him to get away with in Jacksonville? He's going to get beat up. They don't have a good offensive line. They don't have the skill position players equivalent to what even New England or San Francisco has. Defensively, they're not that good. He's going to struggle, even if we think he's the better quarterback. But the Jaguar fans can at least take solace in they might lose, but if Trevor Lawrence looks good, they'll feel good. We like hope for fan bases. Trevor Lawrence is hope. And with San Francisco and New England, these are both traditionally well-run franchises. Obviously, New England is the last great NFL dynasty. San Francisco has had a lot of success since 2010, even with a couple down years in the middle. So we believe these two guys, even when it looks like Cam Newton and Jimmy Garoppolo are both losing confidence in their locker rooms, Jimmy just doesn't look like he's confident when he's playing, proof by the preseason. And Cam, who now has a second incident with COVID in as many years, and now this is not him actually getting COVID, but this is the rules of testing, and someone's either, I'm not going to put blame on Cam Newton, but either he's not paying full attention to the rules, or the rules are kind of out to get him in some way, shape, or form. These are two teams, two rookie quarterbacks that we feel good about. This feels like 2008 Joe Flacco, Matt Ryan. If there was going to be two guys, Joe Flacco, Matt Ryan came into the league in 2008, led both teams to winning seasons, the Ravens and Falcons, because they had good structure around them, they had good talent around them, and even though they were rookies and rookies we hadn't seen have success like that, they both came in and were able to have a winning record, which is different than most of the rookies that followed them. I've always said they started the trend of, all right, we're just going to play our rookie right away. We're going to play our rookie right away. Because up until then, that was not a normal thing. Even a guy like Carson Palmer in the league back then, who was the number one pick in 2003, still had to wait a year before getting into the games. Eli Manning still had to wait. Phillip Rivers had to wait. They started this, throw your rookie quarterback in, but they won games right away. If you look at rookie quarterbacks that followed, there were not a lot of rookie quarterbacks that won right away. There were some that had statistical success. I just brought up Justin Herbert. He had statistical success as a rookie, did not win games right away as a rookie. Trey Lance, Mac Jones, we all have decided these two teams can win, and why they can win is because they have structure, they've got good ownership, they've got good coaches, they have offensive personnel, good defenses, all that good stuff. Now, to wrap them in with everybody else, I'm going to make my first prediction of the season. The New England Patriots and San Francisco 49ers have no chance of winning their division, and I believe they have no chance of making the playoffs. And there's nothing against these quarterbacks, but these quarterbacks are still in competition with their veterans. Name the last team that had a quarterback competition and it turned out well. Name a team currently having a quarterback competition that you feel good about. Do you feel good about the New Orleans Saints? They have a good roster they brought back. Their salary cap sucks, but they have a good roster that they're bringing back. Do you think that they're going to challenge the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with either Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston? No, you don't. Do you feel good about the Chicago Bears? Justin Fields, Andy Dalton. You think they can beat the Packers? My own team. Do you feel good about the Broncos, either Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock? No, you don't. And the problem is just that, is when you have a competition, no other position in sports is unrivaled. Every other position in sports, whether you want to go to baseball, you want to go to basketball, and any other position in the NFL, there's competition. There's 8 to 9 guys in an offensive line room, only 5 can start. There's 5 or 6 guys in a receiver room, only 3 realistically play. There's 3 or 4 guys in a tight end room, only 1 or 2 play. Defensive ends, corners, safeties, like every single position has competition. In the NBA, everybody could be your competition. We play positionless basketball now. You got 11 guys on a roster. The 8th guy, 9th guy on the bench, he starts showing off in practice. He's 6'8", and let's say he gets a handle. He could challenge your starting small forward. Like, there's just the only position in sports that can't have competition is a quarterback in the NFL. I don't know if it's because they're fragile. I don't know if it's because they just can't handle it. It's just the mentality or how their position has been groomed. But if you are the quarterback of a team, you're the only guy that's allowed to be the quarterback of the team. And this is why a lot of teams don't really have great backups, is because why am I going to challenge my guy? This is why a guy like Nick Foles keeps getting brought up and teams are iffy on if he should be on the roster. Because Nick Foles has a Super Bowl win. Nick Foles has proved that he could play in the NFL. Is that going to intimidate your starting quarterback because the backup can actually play? This is why backup quarterbacks are usually like Charlie Whitehurst, Tavares Jackson, even now Matt Barkley, who's been around in the league for a while. There's these guys who are essentially just make their mark as backups because people know they have a very low end and they're not challenging any legitimate starter. You might think Trey Lance with that roster, it could work. But not if that roster doesn't even know, is Trey the guy? But Jimmy Garoppolo, he was getting a lot of the first team reps too. Is Mac Jones the guy? But Cam gets a lot of first team reps too. These are not questions you want to have going into a season, and none of you realistically feel good about any of these teams that are having quarterback battles, because we've never felt good about teams having quarterback battles. We'll probably never feel good about teams having quarterback battles, and if you have a quarterback battle, that means you don't really have one that you feel that good about. Prime example, and yes, he's an anomaly of a player, but when Mahomes walked into practice, there was no longer a quarterback battle. The Chiefs knew, okay, that's the guy. There are some financial things we have to do because we still owe Alex Smith X amount of money, and we're going to let Alex Smith run it out for one more season and then get rid of him when there's only a year left on his contract versus 2. But that guy right there, that's our guy. We got to figure it out. That's what we're moving forward with. That's not a competition. That's understanding we drafted the right guy.